Hey songwriters, welcome back to At Home Songwriting. I'm Chad Shank, and today I'm talking about the dreaded writer's block. Yes, it's that creative block that all of us seem to get a time or two now and then. Some of us seem to be crippled by it. Some of us seem to know how to push through it. Some of us ignore it. But today I'm going to give you some tips on how you can try to put the writer's block into its cage, get rid of it, so you can write some better songs. So you're going to leave this video with some tips and tricks to really push through those times where the creative block just seems to be damming everything up. It's just messing everything up with your flow. You can't write anything. You can't come up with content. It just sucks. So today, let's jump in and let's first talk about what causes writer's block. Let's go. So talking about what causes writer's block, there can be a lot of different issues that pop up to really put you into that writer's block state of mind. Sometimes it can be burnout. Maybe you're working a day job and you're taking care of your pets and your kids and you've got all these other responsibilities outside of songwriting and your mental capacity is just gone. So what do you do if that happens? We'll talk about that. Writer's block can also be caused by fear of criticism. You're afraid that someone's going to listen to your work and think that it's bad. Or maybe you listen to your work and you think that it's bad. Or you're just worried that it's going to come out bad, so you don't do anything at all. So that fear of criticism is huge. So when writer's block sets in, you feel like you can't produce anything. You feel like there's no ideas. The well is dry. You don't know what to write about. You don't know if your ideas are going to be any good. So let's jump in and let's talk about some possible cures for writer's block. So first, what if you're just feeling burned out? Well, whether it's a demanding job, family responsibilities, or just the stress of daily life, it's easy to feel completely drained and unable to tap into your creative energy. But there are ways to get past this writer's block and to get your creativity flowing again. First, you have to understand that this is normal and it's part of the creative process. So the first step in overcoming writer's block is to take a break. Go for a walk, relax, meditate. Give your mind a chance to recharge. If you have a lot of work responsibilities throughout the day, maybe you can get up earlier in the morning, maybe just 20 minutes, and take some time to write first thing while your mind is fresh before you get tired. This can help you clear your head and come back to your writing with some fresh eyes. And another helpful tip is to change your environment. If you're used to writing at the same desk that you work at, maybe try to go to a coffee shop or a library, or maybe write in a park. Changing your surroundings can help you see things from a different perspective, and it can help spark new ideas. And if you're feeling stuck, try experimenting with different writing exercises that take less time. Maybe take 2 minutes and write a quick letter to yourself, or write a story in just 3 sentences, or write a list of things that you're grateful for. These exercises can help you get your creative juices flowing and get out of that burnout phase. I think you should focus on writing quantity before you write quality. So as I've been studying YouTubers and how they develop their channels and all of this, all the time I hear people say, just make 100 videos. Make 100 videos, you'll learn as you go. Don't worry about it being your best video ever. Just make sure you're creating the content, make sure you're putting it out on a regular basis. And I think this applies to songwriting as well. So I know some of you are saying, well, I have writer's block. I don't know what to write about. Well, the thing is it doesn't matter what you write about, especially when you're new. And even if you've been writing songs for a while, sometimes you get to the point where you need a new change. So what if you started writing about random words? Go online and find a random word generator and just let it pick a word for you and then do some free writing on that word. Or maybe write a song with that word as the title. Give yourself something to build off of instead of a blank page. I think sometimes the blank page creates its own sense of, oh my God, I have to come up with a full song. But it starts with just that little seed. If I said, write a song about rainbows, I can guarantee you that half of you already have an idea of what you would say, right? So you really don't have writer's block. You just don't have a technique to pull out of it. A big cause of writer's block is perfectionism, thinking that everything has to be perfect. And this comes from inviting your inner critic into the process way too early. The second your critic comes in, the writing's done. So if you start your writing process with your critic sitting beside you, you're in trouble right from the beginning. So what I'd like you to do is separate your writing process into two segments: creation and editing. And when you're in your creation mode, nothing is good or bad. You just write it and create it. Maybe you write 3 different versions of the same verse. Keep everything that you've written, throw nothing away, because that can be a palette that you look at later. And then once you get a draft of your song, and when I mean a draft, I mean a first verse, a chorus, a second verse, and a bridge, right? Like, especially if you're writing a verse, chorus, bridge, chorus song. So create, and then once that draft is done, then go back and start looking at, okay, is this the best that it can be? And I guarantee you that the editing process, once you have something, once you have the clay to sculpt, it will be a little bit easier for you as you're writing. So one thing that I'm going to tell you that I don't actually do enough of is exercise and eat right. Yes, shocking that I'm the person telling you this, because I don't. But seriously, diet and exercise can have an effect on your mental capacity and your mental ability to be creative. And I've heard a lot of my songwriter friends, and myself included, there's times where I get stuck on a song, or I get stuck just period. And if I go for a walk or I take the dogs outside, sometimes a new idea just comes to me, and it becomes this flow of ideas because I'm getting my blood pumping, I'm getting the endorphins going, my blood vessels in my brain are opening up, and there's all these chemical things that happen when we're active. And I know I'm not active enough. Just okay, I know. But the thing is it could be so helpful. And also eating correctly. I discovered earlier this year that I was drinking a lot of caffeine, and that caffeine was causing me to have like levels of anxiety building up. And once I hit those levels of anxiety, my creativity would go away because my brain was too busy freaking out about basically nothing, because I was feeding it caffeine all day long from energy drinks, which are really bad. But I decided to cut out caffeine, and now I feel much calmer, and my thoughts are much more open. So that's definitely something that you can do as well. Also, to get past writer's block, I think you should do daily writing exercises. Even if you're not writing full songs, I think you should do object writing, you should do free writing. You can do some metaphor writing exercises. If you're not familiar with the metaphor writing exercises, I do have some other videos here on the channel that you can check out. There's a whole metaphor writing workshop that can teach you a very powerful skill on how to write metaphors. You can do hook writing. There's also a hook writing video on this channel that you can look at. And writing from a title. Just go look for some titles and see what comes to mind just from a title. I promise you that the writer's block is not as strong as you think it is if you just feed your mind the right things. And speaking of feeding your mind, there really is no output unless there's good input, right? So one of the ways that you can get past writer's block too is to listen to other genres and other styles that you don't listen to. If you always listen to a certain style of music, your brain is going to become numb to most things that you're hearing, and your writing is going to become numb because you're not feeding your brain anything new. So go listen to genres that maybe you don't even like, right? Because you want to trigger some like brain cells. I'm trying to think of the words: synapses, maybe neurons, whatever's in your brain. Trigger the new ones with something that it's not used to. because you would be surprised at what sort of connections that builds the next time that you sit down to write your own songs. Because you'll see that there's a whole other world, a whole other palette out there that you're not even dipping your brush in. So that's always a good idea, is to listen to other genres. I also think you should take the songs that you love and analyze them down to the smallest level. Break it down by the length of the lines. What is the rhyme scheme? What are the chords doing? When are the chords changing? And some of you are saying, yeah, I know how to play the songs that I like. I'm like, no, but I'm talking about a different level of analyzing than just being able to play the song. Because when you're just playing the song, you're not looking at the mechanics of it. I want you to look under the hood, and I want you to see what are the things that are happening in this song that you could apply to your own songwriting. I think that would help you so much to get over writer's block as well. Also, there really is a natural cycle to the creative process. Sometimes you just don't have ideas, and that's okay. That will pass, because what goes up comes down, what goes down goes back up. So there will be times where you have more ideas than you know what to do with, and then there will be times where there's not as many ideas, and then that's a good time to just let your brain kind of wander, watch some movies, go out with friends, go experience some things, because again, it comes down to what are you putting into your mind to what you're going to get out of it. And another way that you can get past writer's block too is collaborating or co-writing. And I'm telling you this as someone who doesn't really get much joy out of co-writing. Yes, it sounds like sacrilegious, but I just don't have the same amount of joy when I write with other people as I do when I'm writing by myself. So for me personally, this isn't a cure for writer's block. In fact, it actually can make it worse for me because I get anxious sometimes when I'm writing with other people. So it causes a block, and then that stress of being with someone else just makes the ideas not flow. But some of you who are more extroverted, who feed off of others, see, I'm a huge introvert. I like to do things by myself. I recharge by myself. That's kind of where my happy place is. So for those of you who are more extroverted, collaborating and co-writing could be a great way to come out of the writer's block. But as you can see, there's a lot of different causes, and I'd love for you to put in the comments, what do you think are the causes of writer's block for you? Like, what do you think is stopping you from writing? I think all of us experience something different. It could be life stress. It could be we're writing too much. It could be we're not writing enough, so we don't know how to develop songs. It could be that we're being too critical of ourselves. We could be worried about what other people are going to say. So I just invite you, comment in the comments to say, what do you think it is for you? And if you would like to meet other songwriters and actually collaborate and talk openly about some of these things, I invite you to check out the meetup group that I run. You can get to the meetup link. It's on the top of the page at homesongwritingcourses.com. So we have monthly workshops that we get together via Zoom at home. That's the whole idea of at-home songwriting. And we talk about songwriting issues. We talk about songwriting concepts. I try to teach you and educate you about all of these different songwriting things. So if you feel stuck right now, just know that it's natural. It's not you. We all go through it, even the professional songwriters, even your favorite artists. Everybody goes through a period where it feels like we can't do anything. But the key here is to try to figure out what's blocking us and then write. And again, try to focus on quantity right now than quality. I think you'll have fun. You'll have a lot more songs, and you'll learn so much every song that you write. So if you want to get some more tips on how to write better songs and how to develop the craft of songwriting, check out this other video right here. It's a great next step for you to keep learning in your songwriting journey. So thanks for watching. I'm Chad Shank. Check out this video, and let's go write some songs.